So I'm getting ready for bed, and I'm watching a little bit of YouTube like I always do. And I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but it's called the 1911 Syndicate, and usually they feature some pretty high-end guns. 1911s, of course, uh, in the Lord's caliber 45, and they always feature really high-end guns. Now I've got nothing against them. I mean, they're quality quality guns, anywhere from $1,700 to $6,000. You know, uh, they're talking about they got some Ed Browns, they got some original Colts, they've got some high end race guns. They got a little bit of everything, and they're talking about five categories of what you should have, and blah 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 blah. And the hand fitment and the loose. They even had a Rand from 1943 that was not Arsenal. What I mean when I say Arsenal is like, back after the war, they took all these 45s, and the slides go in this bin, and the extractors go in this bin, and the barrels go in this bin. And they say, oh, when we need one, they just take a whatever, and they put it all together, and they were kind of loose fit. But this one was not Arsenal at all. And it was just beautiful. It was old, and it was beat up looking, and it had the straight hammer, and all that. It was still cool. It was interesting to watch. But I'll be damned. At the very end, they were talking about guns you must have. The 1911s, and they were bashing on plastic guns because they don't like them at all. They like all steel, like me. They like all steel, and they like 1911 Syndicate. So I like the 1911 in 45 because, and they had a old boy from Utah on there, and he's from God's country, and most gun people consider John Moses Browning the god of guns, because he was a great inventor. And anyway, it has John and Moses, so, both names are in the Bible, so, but they were all American guns, except for the very last one. The young kid, he's 25 years old, and he's from Utah, and he was talking about, you know, um, he's blessed in being able to buy these high end guns, and they were talking about, nevertheless, the tisas made in Turkey. Okay, so they're sub $800 guns, and they were both talking about it. And he goes, the younger generation, they all shoot these plastic guns, and the older generation, they're all into these, high end, high fitment, steel guns. And so it's kind of in between. He goes, but as a recommendation to get started, into a 1911, in 45 ACP, they talked about the tisas. It was cheap. Uh, Not cheap, but inexpensive. Um, but the damn things work. And that's what they said. Um, if someone came up to them and they said, hey, I've got this much to spend and I want a 1911, he's not going to steer them towards an Ed Brown, or which was covered, and or Nighthawk Customs or anything like that. But they said, just get your feet wet. Start with a tisas. So I have several. I love them. And he says, the damnedest thing is, they're from a different country, but they work. They work great. They have some in 9mm. They have some in 45. Now, the Utah boy was kind of bashing on the 9mm because he said, you could put some nice holes in somebody, but the 45 takes their soul. So, but yeah, out of all those high-end expensive guns, the very last one they feature was the tisas, and they said it was a great working gun. Fitment's great. Sometimes, you may have some blemishes on it. You may have some, plastic parts, but for the most part, they're all steel. They're hammer forged. Uh, they are good running guns. And I just thought I'd share that with you. So, okay. Well, good night. I'm getting ready for bed. So, peace out.